Hey guys, and welcome to the full review of the ABKT Protector, or designated as the Blue Protector due to the blue accents on this. There are two color variants, but we're doing this one. So the way I want to do this is I'm going to start out with just the basic specs, then we're going to just do initial thoughts and impressions, kind of kick the tires on the knife, and then we're going to do some testing on it, and then wrap up with some final thoughts and impressions. So let's get the basic specs out of the way. You're getting a 3.5-inch blade with D2 steel with a tie-dyed black coating. The knife deploys via flipper or thumb studs, dual thumb studs if you so choose. Your handle length is, your handle length is 4.5 inches. Aluminum scales with stainless steel liners that have been blued. It is a liner lock. You have a pocket clip, which is going to be right hand tip up carry. Little lanyard holes on the back. Your weight on this guy is going to come in at about 4.18 ounces according to Blade HQ, so we'll round it out to 4.2 ounces, 7.5 overall length. So those are the basic specs of the knife. Let's get into the kicking the tires and just talk a little bit about this knife. Alright guys, let's kick the tires on this knife a little bit. So first thing I want to start out with is blade centering. So I didn't play with these knives or adjust them. You guys are seeing them right out of the box, just as I got them. So the blade centering on this one is damn near perfect. I would even call it perfect, right out of the box. So I was really happy with that. Next up, I want to take a look at the sharpness. So 1 second while I grab me some paper. Alright, so out of the box sharpness, how are we going to do? Honestly, it was one of the sharpest knives I've gotten out of the box in a really long time. Scary sharp, like super, super, super sharp. So awesome. Blade centering, perfect. Sharpness, perfect. What about blade play? Well, no side to side detectable, no up and down. This is a rock steady lockup. So we'll talk about deployment for a second. This is a very reliable flipper. The action's pretty good. It's not a ZT by any means, but for that $30 price range, what you're getting a reliable flipper. Light switch is going to work every time. Push button does work, but that detent is a pretty strong detent. You can see, like, you can't shake this knife open at all. So push button does work pretty good. Works every time. Light switch works great. I enjoy flipping it via thumb studs as well. Something just about that authority it kicks open with. And then you can also do the Spidey flick, which is probably my favorite one on this knife. So just doing the little... Okay, well, I failed on that one. That was user error, operator error. So let's look at some of the other things that you got. You got a pocket clip here. We'll go into that. I'll put some footage in about here, about the pocket clip going in and out of the pocket. So as you can see, it's not the greatest. It's not the worst. It's doable. Pocket clips is just the so and so. That's the one that I'm lukewarm on this knife with. So let's look at the fit and finish. Well, I've gone over this knife quite a few times. Let me do a nice little focus for you. So I've gone over it quite a few times, and everything's done pretty well. Where the aluminum meets the stainless steel liners is nice. There's no raised sharp edges. I was a little concerned when I took it out of the box about the lanyard hole here and the stainless steel liners, and they actually rounded this off nice. I was worried about this edge here. It's not sharp whatsoever. So they did a really good job. All your hardware is set in pretty good. There was a little one spot you can see just right in that tri-dyed coating or paint or whatever. You can see just a little bit of a wear right there, a little bit of that steel exposed. But I'm not gonna be too hung up on that. So what about the design? How about jimping in hand and all that? Well, you're gonna get a little bit of jimping right here on the back and a little bit right there on the liner lock. The jimping is done very, very well, in my opinion. It's a nice tight jimping. It's not sharp. It does really good job. You purchase on it pretty freaking awesome. So there's also a nice little, see if I can get in on it. Right here, you got a divot for your thumb. I really like that. It sits in there and it locks that in your hand really well. And there's a little bit of jimping up here on the spine. This I would say is, I mean, it actually, okay, so it does lock in pretty good. I'm never going to use that jimping there, but if you want to, you can. I prefer this little divot back here, so if I want to kind of choke up a little bit, you can. I would prefer to use this little divot. It does a really nice job, but you do have some jimping, some serviceable jimping, I guess, on the spine there. All right, so we're moving on to how does it fit in hand? Well, guys, I have a smaller hand and it fits great. I love the fact that it's got this nice kind of recurve in the handle there. It's got a little bit of a swell down here, and that this fits in great. You can really purchase this knife. Your grip is going to be pretty secure. If you're a reverse grip guy, which I'm not, it fits awesome in reverse grip. Draw cut though, not so much. That's not going to be a comfortable time for you. But standard grip, choking up a little bit if you want to, or just reverse grip is great. So what do I think about the overall design of this knife? I think it's pretty cool. It's like this tactical, I don't know what you would call this design. It's a cool design. I really like this nice skinny handle with the curve into it. Sits in really good with the hand. You've got this leaf-shaped blade with the swedge here, this high hollow grind. If you wanted to do a pinch grip, I guess up here you could. I don't know why you would with this blade, but that's an option. It's got the little divot there. I really enjoy this. I just think it's an interesting, unique, tactical kind of blade design. It's something that stood out to me since I've seen it, and having it in hand, I still am just kind of infatuated with it. So overall, the design is awesome. I think we need to get into some testing though, and that's where we're going to kind of see if we can make or break this knife. So let's get into some testing, guys. Here we go. So you'll notice this blade has a little bit of almost like a chopper kind of style to it. So we're going to test that out. What I've done is I've placed just a heavy piece of metal on the end of this rope. I'm going to dangle it off the edge. I'm going to chop right about here and see if it goes through it. So this is going to be a little more of an abusive test. I don't know if I would do this with one of my actual normal knives, but this is a lawnmower belt. It's an old one. It's got a copper braided core, really thick rubber. So we're just going to try to do some push cutting through it and see how it does. Oh, man. So that test actually revealed a few things to me, which I'll go over in my final thoughts and impressions. All right, guys, so here we are with my final thoughts and impressions on the knife. So I'll get into some of the things I found out during testing, and then we'll go over a couple of things that I would change about the knife, and then just my final grade on it, or my final approval or disapproval. So one of the things I noticed when I was testing is one little hot spot did come up. It's not the worst hot spot in the world, but it is something that was noticeable, and I thought I'd share with you guys. Right here, where the liner, the jimping on the thumb stud, and just a little cutout in the aluminum scale. Sorry, let me focus for you guys. right there. It's kind of just a little bit of a trifecta of a hot spot. When I was cutting that mower belt, this I did notice a little bit. Like I said, it's not the worst hot spot in the world, but I definitely did notice it. I think if maybe they brought the jimping down, maybe got rid of the first two little jimps there and just left these bottom ones, that would alleviate that issue. And now there is just the tiniest bit of detectable blade play up and down. I mean, it's minuscule. Actually, I'd almost feel like it corrected itself, but okay, I'm not detecting it now, but I think it was from that whack on the rope when I was doing a little bit of the chopping test. Now, I did that test a few different times. Just the footage wasn't the best quality, so I just kind of left the first test in. But I did it about 3 or 4 times, and it went through every time. So actually, that blade play is gone now. So I guess that's not a terrible thing. The pocket clip does leave a little bit to be desired. That is kind of a hot spot where you see that kind of swoops up there. I don't know. I think if they shorten the pocket clip a little bit, that would. Oh, sorry guys, bumped the camera. I think if they shorten the pocket clip a little bit, that would help out a lot. And I'm okay where it's at. It's not a deep carry, but that's fine. So if they would shorten that up a little bit, maybe make that not as upswept or round that off a little bit more. Get rid of the first 2 little bits of jimping on the liner lock. Then you have a pretty sweet ergonomical handle. The aluminum is a little smooth up here, but this does a pretty good job, and these do a pretty good job of kind of helping it hold in hand. It's not the most secure blade in hand, but it's not a super smooth like titanium handle where it's gonna be a little slippery. So it locks in pretty good. So anything else I could change? Let's see. The only other thing that I could think of to change would be the thumb studs are a little oversized. You can see how big and pronounced they are. Now, I guess that's okay if you want to thumb stud open, but when you're getting it in the pocket, that sticks out just a hair too high. I would bring that down like half a centimeter or even just a hair. So when you're sliding this into the pocket with the pocket clip, it doesn't catch as easily. You can see it's just kind of in line with that. So when you're trying to slide it in your pocket. But after that, I don't have anything to gripe about this knife. For $30, with it being an unknown knife company, as far as I can tell, what you're getting with materials, with quality, with action, with just how it holds in hand, this is a great knife, guys. I can get behind it and absolutely say yes, this is a purchase that I would make again. The only other big question mark is this D2. So I will be testing it against the Ontario Rat. I'll do a D2, Chinese D2 versus, well, I don't know if the Rat has Chinese D2 in it as well, but I'm going to test this against the Ontario Rat's D2 because we know that is actually D2. I trust Ontario. So with this a newer company, I'm going to trust but verify that this is actually D2. So I did quite a bit of cutting test. Let's check the sharpness before we wrap up. So one moment. All right, so let's check the sharpness after all the testing. I think the lawnmower belt was probably the hardest thing on this blade. It's really thick, hard stuff. And then just whacking it on that tabletop as I was doing the chopping test. So let's give it a pull through the paper and see how it does. Ah, that was user error. It's still pretty sharp. Let's see. Still shaving sharp. So, but we will test the edge retention later on in another video for the D2 test. So overall, guys, absolutely happy with this purchase. You guys did a good job picking this one. I think this would make somebody pretty happy. So that's my overall thoughts and impression. Great knife, great price. I'm very happy to see this knife being offered in that price range by these guys. I may even check out some of their other models. They've got quite a few of these knives that they offer. So look forward to possibly testing some more of those. So if you guys want it, get on it. I'll post some links in the description. Also, keep an eye out. I know the Knife Beater actually bought one of these, and he's going to be doing a review. So I'm very curious to see if his knife lines up with this knife. You know, it's a small sample size. We have one. I haven't found any other reviews on this. So I'm looking forward to his review very much so. I'm highly anticipating that. So if you guys want to see how these are, get a bigger sample size, keep a lookout for him. Go subscribe to him. And when that pops up, you guys can check out his review. So thanks for watching, guys. I had a lot of fun doing the intros for this, just the overall this and that series. So we'll keep it going. The next knife review will be coming out soon. I appreciate everything you guys do for the feedback and the commenting. So have a good one. We'll see you all really soon. Take care, guys.